Oh, this is gonna be good.
B, what's up, man?
You use deodorant every day or no?
Yes.
During the quarantine?
Hell yeah. Showering
Okay.
every day during the quarantine?
No, I shower every day. But
Yeah.
deodorant every day?
I was guarding him and he ended up like tackling me, and I went to the ER, and it was so crazy. And this guy that I had like a huge crush on, like my teammate, he stayed with me like in the nurse's office.
Oh, I thought he was gonna be the one that tackled you.
No, and it's like, oh.
A man only needs 3 things during these quarantine times.
Oh Lord.
Food.
Lord.
What? Y'all are.
Oh Lord.
This isn't going to end well. Nothing about this will end well.
It's just food, video games, and lotion. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's it. Pornhub is stepping up at times where we need them. And what do I always say, Dexter? I say this off mic, but I'm going to bring it on.
That you love violence?
No. Heroes are discovered at times when we need them the most.
He's more of a hooligan, I would say.
I'm actually remarkably pretty gentle. I don't know where all this is coming from. Now, my reasoning for that is not suitable for this podcast discussion we're about to have. So let's move on.
You see? Here we go.
I'm saying dudes need it because the amount of times you're washing your hands. Not everybody's hands get dry.
Man, shut up.
You gotta put.
Man, shut up. That is not what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All right, we are moving on.
Everyone remembers the Rodney King riots from the 1990s. He famously did a reenactment of it in the reverse way, getting a whole bunch of black wrestlers.
Marley's like, oh no.
I got turned down for a pretty big story yesterday by an NBA player that I'm really upset about because I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, we're all in our houses. Like, so now it's like, you thought access was bad prior to Corona. Access is even worse during Corona. So,
Who's the player?
She can't say. She can't say.
Come on.
She can't say. You can't say. I'm not gonna let her do that.
How is everyone doing first and foremost?
You already know. Big ass bottle of hand sanitizer. You know what I'm saying? Got some peanut butter crackers. You already know. Like, we out here. I got breakfast bars. Like, I'm straight. I'm chilling. If I'm a 5-star,
at least go to a strip club. God dang.
Yeah, that's the thing.
No. I disagree. Bring them to campus. Because if I'm a 5-star recruit, if I'm the 36th best player on the ESPN 100, I have a visit to your school, and you're bringing me hookers. I'm going to your school. Like, that's how that
Except
goes.
that's not how everyday campus life is. But I get your point.
The moratorium, basically calling for the city and state to implement a moratorium on rent and utility payments for New York City residents that would last at least 90 days. Could you just speak to the importance of essentially putting everything on hold, as the city tries to get through this over the coming weeks and months?
Yes, no, so good. Because we need to sacrifice together. So this is what we're calling for, and we want the state to also expand.
I don't need to know about his worst trauma, especially when you're trafficking on it with a whole production that has music behind it all the time. With baseball, compared to other sports, it's going to be harder for just the athletes to get in that rhythm again, right? Because then we also have to weigh that. Like, how long is it going to take to, get your swing? And so that these guys aren't out pulling hamstrings and playing the worst baseball we've ever seen. So how do you think there's that impact as well? Just sort of weighing into when this can eventually start, if we can even get started.
One of the things that's been thrown around is to do it pay-per-view, right? And that's going to be interesting to play without fans.
The piano will kick in, and then the photos will be black and white, and it'll be sad. It'll be the whole production. He'll change the tone of his voice, and he'll get really serious when he's talking about Nazim Muhammad's worst trauma when he was 16 years old. When he was 16 years old,
The voiceover is great.
And his father committed suicide with a bow and arrow in the middle of the Grand Canyon.
What
are we doing? We had you on after In Celebration of Us, after Retropolitan, so there's been like a progression here. Do you feel like you've gotten more respect in that time for just the consistency of these projects you've been putting out? Because it's at the point, and it's been at the point where, Sky Zoo puts out a project and everybody's like, oh, we know that's going to be dope. So do you feel like that's coming around more and more with every project you're putting out?
Absolutely. It's kind of like every time you win the championship, you're getting more respect. Like